Sup guys, it's your boy Justin here with another game review. Today we're reviewing Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince. By the way, if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. And the reason why we're doing it in this style is because we're collectors. And we also play the games too. We don't just collect them, resell them, and make money. We actually play the games we enjoy. So like, comment, subscribe. So yeah, my first game review of the new year. Hope you guys had a good New Year's. My holidays was cut a little short, but it is what it is. And yeah, so yeah, this is the fifth Dragon Quest Monsters game to get released in the West. There was the 2 Dragon Quest games for Game Boy and the 2 Dragon Quest Joker games for DS, which there was a third one we never got. So, which apparently was the best one. That sucks. But yeah, so this is technically the 6th Dragon Quest Monsters game, but it's the 5th one for us. So yeah, it's developed by Tose, published by Square Enix, obviously. And yeah. Oh my god, sorry. This game apparently only takes 40 hours to beat. It took me 81 hours and a half to beat this game. That's mostly because the objective markers in this game suck, and I got lost for like 20 hours. Oh my god. But yeah, for people who don't know what Dragon Quest Monsters is, it's basically like the Pokemon style, Pokemon Monster Battler / Monster Tamer style game for Dragon Quest. Which, if you play Dragon Quest V, which is probably the best one in the series, that also has like Monster Tamer elements. So the main story for the game is you play, which by the way, this game is not just like a solo game, which you can play this game by, without playing any other Dragon Quest game. But this game is also a prequel / spin-off to Dragon Quest IV, which I played a little bit before, never beat that game. Which the main heroes all have cameos in this game, and they even help you defeat the bad guy at the end. Spoiler alert! So the main story is the game. You play as Sorrow, which I think that's how you pronounce his name. He has like a silent P, so it's P-S-A-R-O. Sorrow, who is half human, half monster kind. Which they don't call them demons here, even though if you read the back, which this game is rated E for everyone, they wrote that he's like a demon prince. So yeah, you play as the demon prince Sorrow, who is half human, half monster. Apparently he's the son of the monster king, Randolpho the Tyrant, who decided to have 3 children, each with a different mother. So you have Dolph, whose mother was a monster. You have one son, which I'm not going to spoil, who is half elf, and you have our main character who's half human. So what happens is that our main character's mother dies, and he gets like, he gets treated differently because he's half monster. And because of that, he grows resentful, and when his mother dies, decides to track down and defeat his father, only for his father to curse him that he would not be able to fight monsters. So he ends up getting half raised by monsters and half raised by the people at Roseville, which is a small community of humans who are also monster tamers, so they get along with, or monster wranglers as they're called, so they get along with monsters. Only for one day, Roseville gets discovered by monsters, and our main character has to become a monster wrangler so he can fight monsters. And once that happens, he decides to go on this epic quest to get revenge on his father. While he's on his trip for revenge, he decides to maybe become the new master of monster kind and defeat the evil humans who are trying to suppress his monster, allies. Sorry. I was just checking something. So yeah, along the way, you team up with Rose, who is your elf waifu, who was imprisoned by the humans. She was like a slave. And you have the thief mage, Tolan Tubble, who also joins you on your quest, who leaves the party for a while, even though it's not really a party, because your human companions don't really do anything in this game. That's one of my problems with the game. You're mostly just, like, it's your monsters that do all the combat. Which the gameplay for this game is that it's turn-based, but you can set strategies for your monsters. And the different strategies are, you can have your monsters not use magic for when you're grinding. You can have your monsters all-out attack. You can have your monster use debuff skills, buff skills, and healing skills. And that's basically the 4 different kinds of monsters there are. Monsters that are specialized in attack, monsters that specialize in healing, monsters that specialize in debuff skills, and monsters that specialize in buff or defense skills. Which you're going to need to, like, a balanced party to beat the game. Which there also are Coliseum battles, which at some points in the game, the game requires you to do. Other points you don't have to do it. Like, I beat the game and I only cleared A, rank A, which you don't even need to do rank A. At no point was I told to do rank A. Only when I got lost in the game, I couldn't figure out what to do, did I think, oh, because at certain points in the game, they want you to go out and collect stronger monsters and clear, like, Coliseum, like, tournaments, which are two monster regular tournaments. There's one in Endor, and then one in, like, Nidiria. I forget which circle in Nidiria. Which Nidiria is basically hell, and there are, like, I think there's, like, 9 circles of, like, of Nidiria. Which, the game is somewhat open world, but they're, like, zones. So you can't just travel to one world you can't just travel to the different areas. You just have the different zones. But the zones are massive. Lots of monsters. Lots of collectible, like, ingredients. And there's also, the game has a seasonal feature where the seasons change. And it changes the monsters. It changes the landscape. It changes what chests you can get access to. Which later on you can find wild monster eggs. Which will contain, which contain rare monsters if they're gold or rainbow. Which you won't know until you actually open the eggs. Which most of the eggs I got monster eggs were worthless until, like, the very last world I went to, where I got, like, a gold egg and I got a rainbow egg. Which, unlike with other games like Pokémon and Digimon, you can't evolve your monsters. How your monsters get stronger after leveling them up and using their skill points, because you're going to need to, most of the game, because the game pretty much plays itself with auto battles and strategies, which I'll get into the strategy part later, the tactics, sorry, but most of the skill in this game that's required is going to be building your monsters so they specialize in something. Because you want your monsters to specialize in one thing. Especially since you want to use your points to max out skills so you can get access to more skills. Which is something they don't tell you in the game. That's something I figured out. Yeah. But yeah, how you get stronger monsters is by breeding. By breeding your monsters to get stronger monsters. Which your monsters are ranked from, I think it's like E to X, X being like the highest a monster can be, which it used to be S, which is the highest ranked monster. Now it's X, which I only had one S ranked monster in the entire game. I forget what it's called, but it's basically like a more advanced version of the Hunter Killer, right? Or the Killing Machine, which is like a rank D monster. And it took me, I had to watch a guide video, and it took me like 5 hours to fuse that monster. Because there are specific chains. So like, you're probably, if you don't use a guide to get the higher ranked monsters, the highest ranked monster you're probably going to get in the game is maybe an A, probably B's, because how it's so convoluted how to fuse your monsters to get stronger monsters, man. Like it is insane, and you can only catch like the highest I think you can catch in the wild is like B. So that was a little annoying. But yeah, I'm just gonna wrap up my review. My likes for the game. I liked the revenge story. It fit like the dark tone, the darker tone. This is still a Dragon Quest game, so there's lots of humor. They have the wordplay names, obviously, of Toil and Trouble, where you had like characters like from Dragon Quest 8. You had Bangers and Mash. You have cool character designs, even though it's obviously, if it's actually done by Akira Toriyama, who the hell knows. Good music. I like the open world, the seasons feature. There's variety of monsters, cool cast of likable characters. The cameos were good, though I hated the vague objective markers. Dislikes. The game, when it comes to the battles, it's pretty much like you can pretty much just auto battle, like you play the whole game in auto battle, which gave it this mobile feel to it. So which was like, what the hell, was this game supposed to be a mobile game and they just released it for the Switch? I don't know. There's no direct control of monsters in Coliseum battles. All you can do is sector tactics, which I have my main healing monster near the end of the game. For some reason, even though I would set its, like, you know, set the healing, it would always start off the battle sometimes with Magic Burst, which uses all of its MP. Which is like, what the hell? You just used all your MP in the first round of battle. You dumb monster, when you're my main healer. Oh, it would do that constantly. So, like, but you can direct control your monsters, obviously. But when you're grinding and, like, for the Coliseum battles, you have no choice but to do that. There's puzzles in the later dungeons, where I thought were annoying. And there's pay to win stuff in the game, apparently. DLC. Which is like, what the fuck? I was watching, sometimes I would get stuck in the game and I would maybe check out people's videos, which the videos were useless because there's not a set order to play the game. So yeah, and I noticed that a lot of them were wearing cool armor, and I'm like, where the hell is that armor you get in the game, or is that DLC? I have no idea. I never got that cool armor, so that sucked. Your companions are basically, they serve no gameplay purpose. They're just there for the story, which your character is a silent protagonist, by the way, except for when he's using Zoom in his British accent. Which, yes, you have more of the British accents, which is kind of like, okay, I don't know, the British accent's not bothering me. It didn't bother me in Dragon Quest 8, but now that they've used the British accents for every voice-acted, like, Dragon Quest game since 8, it's, like, kind of annoying, especially now, if you play, like, Final Fantasy 16, which I did, and I did like a partial review kind of for Final Fantasy 16, my initial thoughts on Final Fantasy 16, and my last game review, which wasn't on this channel. It was on Kevin Street's live stream, which we reviewed Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep together. It's on my games reviews playlist, check it out. And that game is all British voice acting. So it's like, what the hell, like both major Square Enix franchises are now just gonna have British voice actors? Come on. But the British voice acting was good. But yeah. And also, I felt like, you know, this is obviously just like a nitpick. But like, yeah, I feel like certain stuff in the game you kind of need to play Dragon Quest 4 to understand. Because at certain points of the game, I was fucking lost, dude. I was trying not to swear in this game that's supposed to be for children. Oh my god, which I would not recommend this game for kids, especially since, you know, the main character loses his mom when he's a kid, and like kids get nightmares from like stuff like that. I know I did, I know lots of people did. A lot of people got nightmares for watching old Disney cartoons because of like there was always a point in the like in those movies where like the main character would lose their like mom or dad or whatever. Usually the mom, like in Bambi or like or they're always orphans. So yeah, I would not recommend this game for little kids. But yeah, and the fact that there's no way they're gonna beat it, even with all the autoplay battles BS. They're not gonna. No kid is gonna beat this game, man. So yeah, I enjoyed the game, but like, it did feel like you need to play Dragon Quest IV to appreciate the game. Which I'm going to try to beat Dragon Quest IV this year. I have the DS copy, and I'm gonna try to finally beat it. So yeah, that's it for this review, guys. It's a 7 out of 10. Could have been an 8, but yeah, I had some minor problems. But yeah, it's a solid game. Solid 2023 game. So my next game review is probably going to be Final Fantasy 16. Peace out.